Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Title Scoop. So this week we're going to continue our series on escrow topics and talk about the USA Patriot Act. The USA Patriot Act stands for Uniting and Strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism. That's an acronym and a lot of people don't know that, and I certainly don't have it memorized, but this act was created in 2001 and it's 132 pages long. I've never read the whole thing, only pieces that affect our industry. But if you ever feel like reading it, let me know what the whole thing says. So it was originally passed in 2001 and it really was after the September 11th attacks on the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, and it gave rise to the federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to discover and investigate and prosecute foreign terrorists. So it gave them a number of tools to do that. It also greatly increased the power and reporting requirements of banks and other financial institutions, and under the Act, title and insurance companies do fall under financial institutions. So how it comes into play for us is an OFAC search, which is the Office of Foreign Assets and Control, and really that's seeking to target individuals or entities that are engaged in terrorism and or drug trafficking. So as part of any title exam, an examiner is going to run a search in OFAC to see if any of the individuals that are participants in this transaction have an OFAC hit. And usually it comes back as a no hit. And if you've never seen one, it will come back and basically say there's no hits on that individual or that entity. However, if you do get a hit, you have to do a couple of things. So one thing just to bear in mind is that the United States has no prohibition against citizens of foreign countries from owning real estate here. And that's actually a little bit different because a lot of countries do have prohibitions on who can own the real estate. Unfortunately, this act, because of this act, the government places the burden on the banking institution and financial institutions to essentially report if there are any hits. Not necessarily a hit, I shouldn't say if there are any hits, it's if anyone actually matches what's on the hit list that you received. So persons that are on the list are considered SDN, and that's specially designated nationals. So if you get a hit list back, and hit list sounds horrible now that I say that out loud, but if you get a list and it has a hit on it, and it has SDN, then you do need to start asking questions. And the reason we have to take this so seriously is that if you inadvertently do a transaction with someone who is on the OFAC list or on purpose, you could either have civil fines or you could be criminally prosecuted. So it is something that we do have to take really seriously. So let's say you have a hit, what are you gonna do now? You do have to start asking questions. Now, the names are usually gonna be something common, not necessarily Smith or Jones, but common in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, so maybe other countries. When you get that hit back, there's a lot of information on there. It usually has like a list of aliases. It'll show the country of origin, last known residence. A lot of times it will have passport information, date of birth, a lot of different information to help you identify if your person is actually that person. Usually a not me affidavit is not going to be something we're going to want, because if it is in fact that person, they're not going to be like, yeah, that's me. Go ahead and report me. So you do want to make sure you're asking a lot of questions to see, does it make sense with the information you have? When I've seen them, a lot of times it may not even be our person. It may not even be close to the person's name. And in fact, if you're ever trying to figure out like, what questions do I ask, or I'm not sure, you can get on the website, and I can send the link if anybody wants it, but it's the OFAC website, and it really actually gives like a due diligence set of questions for you to ask. And you basically ask a question and go on if there's more questions that you're answering yes to. So if you've asked a bunch of questions, you can't figure out if this is your person or not, maybe a lot of things are matching, you need to call the OFAC hotline if they match, or if you can't figure it out, because you want them to confirm for you whether this person is the person on their list, and they can do that. So I really encourage people, if you're not sure, you're trying to figure it out, just call the hotline, give the information, they'll tell you if they need more or not, and they can confirm for you and give you, a clear to go or a, hey, we need to do something else. So with that, we're going to call it a week. If you guys have other questions about OFAC or the USA Patriot Act, definitely shoot me an email or give me a call. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.